Because it's December, we're getting to the end of the year. So a couple days ago, we had our first snow of the year here in Massachusetts. We got maybe 1 inch or 2 inches. Not a ton of snow, but enough to wake up in the morning and go, oh my gosh, it snowed yesterday. It's pretty surprising. And so it's getting colder outside. We got a little bit of snow and we're getting close to Christmas time. And Christmas time is a fun season in the United States. It's cold. Yes, that's not very fun. But there are a lot of friends and families around, and you can see people you love and people you haven't seen for a long time. And there are Christmas trees, there are lights on houses, you can eat some yummy snacks, eat some delicious meals. There's a lot of good stuff during Christmas time. And so, because we're in December getting close to Christmas, I thought today we could take some time to try reading a short story that's about Christmas. So today we're going to work together to read a short story about Christmas. And the name of that short story, Twas the Night Before Christmas. This is a very, very famous short story that when I was a kid growing up, we would read this story or listen to our mom and dad read this story almost every year. And a lot of people know this story, know the words from it, and have lots of good feelings about this story. And we call it Twas the Night Before Christmas. Twas is another way to say it was. So it was the night before Christmas. Kind of an old way to say it. Oops. Can I type today? I'm not sure. So twas the night before Christmas, meaning it was the night before Christmas. And then the other name for it is A Visit from Saint Nicholas. Saint Nicholas. What the heck is that? Who is that? So someone visited you and visited them, and his name is Saint Nicholas. Saint Nicholas is another name for Santa Claus. So this is the same as Santa Claus. Hey, how do you spell Santa Claus? Oh my gosh, is there an E or no E? Santa Claus. Okay, no E. Whew. Now, just a reminder, spelling is hard even for me, so it's okay to Google the spelling sometimes. Don't forget. So, twas the night before Christmas, a visit from St. Nicholas, meaning Santa Claus came to visit this family, this home. And this is a really famous story by Clement C. Moore. You can see here. And like I said, a lot of people know the words to this story, so we can try it together. We can read part of the story together, and then next we can talk about it and talk about the words and what it really means, and then we can read it one more time. It will go piece by piece, so it won't be too much all at one time. So let's get started. Here's some kids playing with toys. Lots of kids get toys as gifts at Christmas time. And here's a little girl praying. My family doesn't really pray anymore, but a lot of people pray before going to bed. And they pray and then go to sleep, and in the morning, they find their Christmas gifts. So, let's start from the beginning of the story. Let's make sure you can see everything. I'm going to try to move things around. Okay. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. So we'll read it one time, then we can talk about it, and then move to the next part. This story is nice because it's in little pieces of 4 lines. And you'll notice these lines rhyme. Rhyme means that the sounds at the end match. House and mouse. Those rhyme. Care and there. They rhyme. Rhyme means that the sounds are the same or similar. Okay? So this story will rhyme. Okay. 'Twas the night before Christmas, meaning it was the night before Christmas. Is there another name for that? Well, we call it Christmas Eve. So the night before Christmas is also called Christmas Eve. Sorry if I'm looking around, I'm making sure everything fits on the screen. I have too many windows, too many things on around my computer. Okay. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. So all through the house, meaning all over the house, in every part of the house, not a creature was stirring. Stirring is another way to say moving. So creature means a living thing. So not a creature was stirring, meaning no living things were moving, meaning no animals were moving, no people were moving, nothing. Not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. Now, why are they saying this? Or why is the author saying this? Well, it's saying that everyone is asleep. The family is asleep, the mom and the dad and the kids. And even if there's like a mouse in their house somewhere, the mouse is sleeping too. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care. Stockings is another word for socks. And at Christmas time, we have big special socks that we put next to the chimney. And the chimney is a part of the house. So let's look down at a picture. So here's the picture from the story. You can see there are stockings that are hanging. The stockings are hung. Let's see if you can see everything. So hung is the past tense of hang. The stockings are hung by the chimney. Now this part of the house here, this is called a fireplace. I would call that a fireplace. But a fireplace is connected to a chimney. So let's go over here and look at these pictures. Up here, these are stockings. In my family would have stockings like this that we would hang at the fireplace. And down here is a house with a chimney. The chimney is where smoke goes. You can put a fire in the fireplace, and then the smoke will go out of the chimney, out into the sky. So it's so the smoke doesn't stay in your house. And people put stockings at the fireplace next to the chimney because Santa comes down the chimney and comes out of the fireplace and puts gifts into the stockings. So we put stockings so Santa can put little presents inside. Okay? So, oh, I can't see my mouse. Come on, computer. Hi. Every day I have computer problems, right? But that's part of life. I think everybody does. Okay, So, the stockings were hung by the chimney with care. With care is another way to say carefully. Okay? in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. So in hopes that means hoping that. So they put the stockings there hoping St. Nicholas would come soon, or hoping that Santa would come soon. So in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there, meaning hoping he comes very quickly, right away. So let's read it one more time. Now that we know what a stocking is and we know what a chimney is. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. So everyone's asleep and hoping Santa Claus comes to their house. Let's go down, down, down. Okay. Next part. Oh, I have a message from Duffy. Kyle, good evening. White snow is currently covering the ground across Massachusetts. You're right. So we got some snow 2 nights ago. We got close to an inch. An inch is about 3 centimeters. So not a lot of snow, but enough where you could look out the window and go, ooh, it snowed outside. So it's pretty nice. So thanks for joining, Duffy. So next up, the children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap. So let's look at it piece by piece. The children were nestled all snug in their beds. So here's a picture of the children in their beds. They're nestled in their beds. Nestled means they're like in tight. They're like in a very comfortable place. They're nestled in, meaning they crawled into their bed. Okay? So this is a verb meaning like they're laying in bed, but it sounds more comfortable and nice. And they're all snug in their beds. Snug means tight and comfortable. So maybe not always comfortable, but snug means tight. And maybe it can mean warm too. Here it means tight and warm. So they're in their beds, and their beds are nice and warm too. They're comfortable. So they're all nestled like this, all snug in their beds. So it sounds pretty comfortable for these kids. While visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. So vision means something you can see. So vision. So they're in their beds and they're having visions. They're seeing things. Well, what does that mean? That means they're dreaming. So here we have the word vision, but it means dreams. Dreams of sugar plums danced in their heads. So they can see pictures of sugar plums. Now, what are sugar plums? This is a hard word. Don't worry about it. But it's a common word at Christmas time. The word plum is a kind of fruit. It's a purple fruit. I think Zaozi. Eh? I could be wrong. I'm sorry. But a plum is a purple fruit. Let me look it up quick. I'll help you. May? Is that right? Oh, yeah, May. Gan May or something. Let's see. Okay, sometimes it's called May, and sometimes it's called Leeds. Okay, but two different names for the same thing. Anyways, a plum is usually a purple fruit. It's round, but a sugar plum is something special that people talk about at Christmas time. Over here, you can see this bowl of candy. This bowl of candy, these are called sugar plums. And this is a kind of candy from a long, long, long time ago. I don't think I've ever tried these candies. You don't see these anymore, but they're in lots of stories about Christmas. So children are dreaming of sugar plums, and then in another story, there's someone called the Sugar Plum Fairy. So we hear about sugar plums a lot at Christmas time. So visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. The children are dreaming about candy. That sounds pretty good. And Mama in her kerchief, and I in my cap. Mama is in a kerchief, meaning this kind of thing. A long time ago, people would wear a kerchief or kerchief when they go to sleep. People would wear night clothes, which we don't really say anymore, but yeah, this is very old style, like hundreds of years ago. Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap. A cap is a sleeping cap. It's just a hat that people would wear when they go to sleep. If you have pajamas on your clothes, you have a sleeping cap on your head. I don't think people wear this anymore, but in old stories, people did. Okay? Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap. To settle something means let it go down and slow down and relax. So settle our brains means relax your brains because you're going to sleep for a long winter's nap. Usually nap means a short sleep, but they're saying a long winter's nap. They just mean going to bed. Okay? And you can see this picture of one of the children sleeping in the bed. I'll read the whole thing one more time. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. In Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap. So everybody's quiet and relaxed in bed, waiting for Santa. Okay, and then something happens next. Oh, here's the guy with his sleeping cap, and here's Mama with her kerchief on her head. So a long time ago, people would sleep with things on their head. Okay? Next up. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters, and threw up the sash. Okay, so let's go piece by piece. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter. So out on the lawn is outside of your house. You might have grass. That grass is called the lawn. Okay? And when out on the lawn, there arose such a clatter. Arose is kind of like something, like, you know the word rise, maybe. Come on. Arose is like something rises, or the past tense of rise, meaning it went up. So here we're talking about a sound. A sound got louder and louder. It went up, up, up in volume, right? So when out on the lawn, when out on the lawn, there arose such a clatter. Now, clatter means loud noise. And the word clatter kind of sounds like what clatter would sound like. Imagine you hear clatter, 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 clatter. You hear lots of little sounds together. That's what a clatter is. Some sort of noisy sound. So out on the lawn, there arose such a clatter, meaning he heard lots of noises outside the house. I sprang from the bed, boing, to see what was the matter. Sprang is the past tense of spring. Spring is like jump. Spring is like jump. Can you see that okay? Nope. There we go. I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter. What was the matter is another way to say what was wrong. So you might hear the question, hey, what's the matter? That means what's wrong? So he jumped out of bed to see what was wrong. I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window, I flew like a flash. A flash is a bright light. And he flies to the window. He flew to the window. Away to the window, I flew like a flash. So he runs to the window really quickly. Tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. So he tore open the shutters. Tore is like you tear something, you rip it. He tore it open, meaning he opened something really fast. What did he open? He opened the shutters. Shutters are something you put on windows. So you see these wooden things on the side? These are called shutters. These are on lots of houses, but usually they stay open. People don't really close them much. But a long time ago, people would keep the shutters closed. Okay? So he tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. Now, a sash is not something we put on windows anymore, but I think it's a cloth. And so he pulled a cloth open, okay? Like a piece of fabric. So the dad jumps out of the bed and runs to the window. Okay, and then let's go down. Here he is looking out the window. I didn't read it one more time. Sorry. I'll read the whole thing together before we move on. So, when out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters, and threw up the sash. And then next, what does he see? The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave the luster of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. Okay. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow. Here the word breast just means the surface, like on top. Usually we don't use this word in this way. For the word breast usually means this part of your chest. This is your breast. Okay? But here in this story, it means the surface of the snow, like the top of the snow. So the moon on the breast of the new fallen snow. So the snow just fell. It's new. So new fallen snow. This is not a common way to say it, but it means that the snow recently fell. It's new. It just fell tonight. Okay? So the moon on the snow gave the luster of midday to the objects below. Luster is a word meaning the shine. Or like, it's shiny, but a noun. So if you talk about a ring, if someone's wearing a ring, the ring will have some luster, some shine. The light will bounce. Okay? So the moon on the snow gave the luster of midday. Midday meaning the middle of the day. So this means that the moon is shining on the snow, and because it's so bright and shiny, it looks like it's the middle of the day. So it's really bright outside. So the moon gave the luster of midday to objects below. So things below the man look like they're in the middle of the day. When what to my wondering eyes should appear. So when something appears in front of him. The way this is written is very old-fashioned, so don't worry if it's confusing. What to my wondering eyes should appear. So here means like something appeared to his wondering eyes. Here, wondering means curious. He's very curious about what the heck is going on. What made a sound? Something appeared to his curious eyes. So, what to my wondering eyes should appear? But a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. So, he sees something. He sees a miniature sleigh. Miniature is another way to say tiny or very, very small. Okay? And he sees a miniature sleigh. What is a sleigh? If we look over here, this right here is a sleigh. It's like a sled. It's like a little car that doesn't have wheels, but it has these long pieces of metal or sometimes wood. And it can slide on snow. So that's called a sleigh. So S-L-E-I-G-H, a sleigh. And Santa has a sleigh. And what else did he see? He saw a miniature sleigh, a small sleigh, and 8 tiny reindeer. So in this story, everything's really little. Reindeer are these animals down here. It's not just a deer, it's a little bit different. It's called a reindeer. And so you can see they have more fur than some deer, and their antlers are a little bit different. Those are called antlers. Antlers. A-N-T-L-E-R-S. Their antlers are a little different than a deer, and their fur is a little different than a deer. Okay? And so Santa has 8 tiny reindeers. Or in this story, everything's tiny. Okay? So let's read it one more time before we move on. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave the luster of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. So he sees a sleigh and reindeer, and who do you think is riding that sleigh? Okay, and keep going. This middle part, we'll stop here before going further. With a little old driver, so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick. More rapid than eagles, his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. So he sees the sleigh and 8 reindeer, and the sleigh is with a little old driver. So someone is driving the sleigh. Now, Santa doesn't have a wheel. He's not driving it like a car, but he's holding a, what is it? Not a rope, but what do you call that? Whatever. He's holding a strap that he goes like this and tells the reindeer where to go. So with a little old driver, so lively and quick. You know quick is fast. Lively means energetic. So he seems very energetic. He has lots of energy. He's having fun, feeling good. A little old driver, so lively and quick. I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick. In a moment means it's very, very fast, really quickly. I knew in a moment, really quick, it must be Saint Nick. We said that Saint Nicholas is another name for Santa Claus, right? Saint Nicholas is Santa. And so you can take Saint Nicholas and make it shorter and say Saint Nick. Jolly old Saint Nick. ST dot is short for saint. You'll see this a lot at Christmas time. Okay? So I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick, Santa. More rapid than eagles, his coursers they came. So more rapid than eagles. Rapid is another way to say fast or quick. So faster than eagles, more rapid than eagles. His coursers they came. Courser is an old-fashioned word, but it's usually used for horses. So animals that are driving his sleigh. So here it means the reindeer. Let's see. So if we're reading a book, like sometimes in a fantasy book, they might say, the knight rode a large courser. Courser is another way to say horse. But in this story, courser means reindeer, because Santa has his reindeer. So his reindeer are really fast. They're faster than eagles. More rapid than eagles. His coursers, they came. Now the grammar seems a little bit strange, right? But that's because they write it in a way so it can rhyme. Regular English, you would say, his coursers came more rapid than eagles. That's the order you would say normally. But to make it more interesting in the story, they flip it around so they can put the word came at the end. And it's like an old-fashioned way of writing. Okay, so the reindeer are coming really quickly. And he whistled and shouted and called them by name. So to whistle is to go or something. Or maybe use your fingers and blow. I can't do that. So he whistled and shouted, hey, hey, and called them by name. So he says their names out loud. Okay? This is what Santa always does. So I'll read it one more time before we go on. With a little old driver, so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick. More rapid than eagles, his coursers they came. He whistled and shouted, hey, and called them by name. Here we go. This is the very, very, very famous part. Let's make sure it's Looks good. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen. On Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen. To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all. This part is very, very famous. So here, Santa Claus is calling out the name of his reindeer. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen. These are names of the reindeer. You can see the reindeer in this picture here. Oops, hitting the wrong button. On Comet, on Cupid, on Donder and Blitzen. Again, these are names of the reindeer. To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. So he's telling them where to go. The top of the porch. Let's take a look at this house over here. So a lot of houses in the United States look like this. And in the front of the house, there's this little section, and it has a little roof, and there's a flat part where you can walk or maybe sit. This whole section together is called the porch. And so it's a covered part of the house where you can sit and relax, enjoy the weather, and you don't have to worry about it being too sunny, or if it's raining outside, you won't get wet. So a lot of houses have a porch. And so Santa says, to the top of the porch. He wants the reindeer to take him up onto the porch. To the top of the porch. To the top of the wall. So the top of the wall, maybe the very top of the house. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all. Dash is another way to say run. So he wants them to run, run, run. Okay? So this part's a little bit easier, but it's very memorable. It's very famous. Okay? So let's read it one more time. So he's whistling and shouting and telling the reindeer where to go. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen. On Comet, on Cupid, on Donder and Blitzen. To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all. And so Santa Claus is calling out to the reindeer, telling them where to go. And here they're flying across the roof of the house up to this thing. What is this called? I think we mentioned this before. This is called a chimney, because Santa Claus always goes down a chimney of a house. And that's the way he gets into the house. Okay, and so let's do one little section and then we can call it a night. We can finish the second half next week, okay? And I'll read the next part. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky. So up to the house top the coursers they flew, with the sleigh full of toys and St. Nicholas too. Okay, so as dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly. So here we have the word as. There's the A, there's the S. As is just like the word like. We use it in the same way. We're making a comparison. So the sleigh and the reindeer all together, they are as dry leaves. They're like leaves that are flying in the wind. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly. So imagine leaves when there's a hurricane coming. The leaves will go fly around wildly. What is a hurricane? Well, I think maybe you remember. A hurricane is this kind of crazy storm. That's called a hurricane. And this is exactly the same as a typhoon. Hurricane, typhoon, they're both the same kind of weather. But why are there two different names? Well, a hurricane is in the Atlantic Ocean. A typhoon is in the Pacific Ocean. They're the same thing. The names are just different because of where they come from or where they start. Okay? So, in American stories, usually we say hurricane. I think this is American. I'll have to check. It might be British, so sorry. I don't remember. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly. Sorry, one more time. Not hurricane, but hurricane. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly. So they're moving like leaves in the wind. Whoosh. When they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky. So the reindeer and the sleigh are just like leaves. When they meet with an obstacle means a thing that's blocking them. Like a thing that gets in their way. Imagine that the leaf is flying in the wind and it gets close to a wall. What will the leaf do? It's not going to hit the wall and stop. The leaf will go up and fly to the sky because the wind is so strong. So the reindeer are the same. When they meet with an obstacle, when they meet something, they mount to the sky. Mount meaning go up to the sky. You can imagine the reindeer are flying, get close to a wall, and just go shoo, up, up, up. So that's what they do. So up to the housetop, the coursers, they flew. Housetop means the top of the house. But you can flip it around and say the housetop. It's not very common, but you can figure it out. That's what it means. The coursers, they flew. Again, courser usually means horses in a story, but here it means the reindeer as they're running quickly. With a sleigh full of toys, in St. Nicholas too. So the sleigh is what Santa is riding in, and it's full of toys. So the sleigh full of toys in St. Nicholas too. In this part, they're talking about the reindeer. So they're saying the reindeer are with a sleigh full of toys and they're with St. Nicholas, Santa Claus. Okay? So this is describing how they're moving. They're moving like leaves on the wind. They're going zhoo. So let's read it one more time. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky. So up to the housetop, the coursers, they flew, with a sleigh full of toys and St. Nicholas too. So this is the first half of our story, and we're describing that the father wakes up and he sees Santa Claus and his sleigh and all of the reindeer flying around and going up the side of the house, going towards the chimney. So this is the first part of this story. And next time we can take a look at the second half of the story. Okay? And what do you think is going to happen? Well, Santa is on top of their house. And where is he going to go next? Well, he'll go down the chimney, and maybe the father will get to see Saint Nicholas or Saint Nick, or better yet, Santa Claus. Okay? So that is part one of Twas the Night Before Christmas, a visit from Saint Nicholas. So next time we can continue the story and get to see Santa and see what he looks like and learn a little bit more of this story. So I hope you're enjoying the story. It's a very famous story. It's close to my heart. I've heard this many, many times. Lots of people in the United States grow up hearing this story, and we know lots of the words by heart, meaning we don't need to read it. We remember a lot of the words because it's so famous and such a wonderful, lovely little story. So I hope you enjoyed it as much as I do. So thank you everybody for joining. I hope you had a good time. I hope you learned something new. Next week, we can start at the beginning, read what we already read. We could read the first half again, and then read the second half and do what we did today. Go through it piece by piece, line by line, and talk about some of the tricky words and what everything means. So I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something new, and I will see you next time. So happy holidays. Happy December, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.